Kassy Clifford, and welcome to Cooking with Kassy. If you struggle with autoimmune issues, chronic illness such as diabetes, or stubborn weight loss, this is the show for you. I'm an integrative nutrition health coach that will help you make simple, long-lasting changes to your life. Today, we're going to start with breakfast. And this is my friend Terry. She's going to be helping me today. And today, Terry, we are going to make 2 simple, nutrient-packed breakfasts that are great for a mom on the go. You can make them ahead of time, throw them in the oven a few minutes before you're ready to eat, and you can have them all week long. And that's what I love about these.
Awesome.
We're going to do an egg frittata, and we're just doing a vegetarian one today. And then after this, we're going to be doing a baked oatmeal. Both very simple recipes. First, we're going to start with the eggs, and we're just going to blend them up gently. We don't want to overbeat them. We're going to add a little bit of water.
Are these organic eggs?
And those are actually free-range, pastured, local eggs. And believe it or not, I like using these eggs because they actually have more nutrients in them. They contain more vitamin D, more vitamins and minerals than regular eggs that you would get in the grocery store.
Because the chickens are free-ranging, eating bugs.
Exactly, they're getting
greens.
sun, they're eating bugs, they're eating grass. So we've added a little bit of water, and the reason we do that is because it actually makes the eggs fluffier as they cook. So after that, we're going to move over here, and we're going to saute some vegetables. Now, you can really use anything, any vegetables that you have. You can use leftovers. Like last night, we cooked with poblano chilies, so I have some cooked chilies.
Yum.
You always want to put onions and garlic. And we've got some red peppers. And whatever vegetables are in season are the vegetables that I like to use.
Are these all organic?
They are. I
Organic?
really like to use organic and local when I can. We've got many of these vegetables came from our own farmers market and right here in Auburn. And we actually have microgreens that we're going to garnish with today that are from True Leaf Microgreens, which is right in Lake of the Pines.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Are you going to saute these first, or do we put them in raw?
So I'm going to saute them really quickly. We're going to saute our vegetables just for about 5 minutes. And today I'm using a cast iron skillet. I really love cast iron. Not only does it provide your body with iron that is much needed, but you can take it straight from the skillet to the oven. That's what I love about that. We're going to first put some ghee in the pan, and it's on about medium-high.
So tell me about ghee. I know you like to use ghee a lot, but what's the significance of that?
Sure. So ghee is actually clarified butter. So what we've done is we've taken the protein out of the butter, we've boiled it down, taken the protein out, and kept the good fat of the butter, which is packed with nutrients. And it's also really great for people who might be lactose intolerant or unable to tolerate dairy, because the protein's been taken out. It doesn't typically bother them. And you can cook on a high heat. So we're going to saute our vegetables. And when you're cooking with ghee, you can really, it won't burn. So you can cook it on a high heat.
That's good to know, because there's not a lot of oils that like the high heat. It destroys them, so that's good to know.
It destroys the quality of most oils. So what we have here is we have some wild mushrooms, we have some peppers and zucchini, garlic and onions, and spring onions. And we're going to add some,
awesome.
We're going to saute for a few minutes, and then we're going to add some of our more delicate vegetables, which is spinach, and then we've got some herbs as well. I'm going to add a little bit of salt.
Now what kind of salt is that? It's pink.
This is pink Himalayan sea salt. So sea salt is packed with nutrients, and it's great to get different types of sea salt from different regions of the world. Today we're using Himalayan pink sea salt. There's Celtic, there's sea salt from Hawaii, which is very dark. And so they all have a little bit of a different flavor,
Okay.
and they all offer us different trace minerals.
And why not just regular table salt?
Table salt is actually mined from land, and it is not necessarily nutrient dense.
Okay.
It's not something that you really need in your diet.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So we added a little bit of salt. Now we're going to add a little bit of pepper. And our spinach. Saute this for another minute. And then we're going to add our eggs. Goodness.
That smells really good already. That spinach will continue to cook down a little bit, right? As
Yes,
you
it will.
cook the eggs.
Yeah, we don't even really need to saute the spinach. So what we're going to do is let this sit and just cook lightly for about 5 minutes. We're going to push up the kind of scoop underneath in a minute when it starts cooking.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're going to just throw it in the oven for about 20 minutes and it'll be ready to go.
So this is something you could chop all your little supplements up before, do it at night, and make it in the morning.
Yeah, it's great for a crowd, and it's great for making the beginning of the week. You can throw it in the refrigerator and take little squares out anytime you want a quick meal.
Mm-hmm.
It's perfect for the kids. For even you can pack it in their lunch. It doesn't have to be eaten warm, which is nice. We're going to put a little bit of cheese on today, and today we have raw cheese and a goat cheese, and then a raw Emmentaler. The reason I like to use raw cheese is because the less you cook foods, the more nutrients you're offering your body. So in this case, these cheeses have not been pasteurized, which means they're going to give you more nutrients, and they taste really good. And really, you can use any type of cheese. This recipe, as all my other recipes that we're doing today and in other shows, they're all on my website, which is CompleteHealthWithKassy.com. And you can really be versatile with these. If you have a certain kind of cheese, use it. If you have ham or bacon and you prefer that, you can throw it in your frittata. Basically, a frittata, you can put anything in it. Any kind of herb that you love, any kind of vegetable, any kind of meat. I don't cook with a lot of meats because I think that the meat today does not really help our bodies, especially with the clients that I work with. A lot of them are struggling with inflammation, and it tends to cause inflammation. Mm-hmm. So I try to cook without meat when possible. But every once in a while, it's okay.
That looks awesome.
We are going to put this in the oven for about 25 minutes. Ooh, forgot to add our herbs. And these are just herbs that I had in my garden. So we've got basil, thyme, rosemary, oregano, and sage. Just going to pop that in for about 20 minutes and it'll be done. Now we're going to make some baked oatmeal. We're going to start with our oatmeal that's been soaking for a day. You can soak it from 12 hours to 24 hours. And the reason we want to soak our oats is because oats have a film or a jacket on them, which is a protective coating for them while they're growing. But we don't want to eat that because what happens is it causes a lot of digestive problems. It's really hard for our bodies to break down. Same with legumes. beans, and really any kind of grain. You always want to soak your grains before eating them.
What kind of oats do you have here? Is just regular Quaker oats?
So today we're using a steel cut oat. You can use old-fashioned oats, which are the least processed oat, or you can use steel cut, which is even less processed than a oat flake. Either one of those are great, and I would highly recommend using organic oats, because again, we want to get as many nutrients in what we're cooking, and so today we're using the steel cut oat. And what I've done is I've soaked it in water and a little bit of sea salt, and then we wanted to add a little bit of apple cider vinegar. And what that does is it actually enhances the nutrients that are in the grains. So we just add a little bit of apple cider vinegar, and again, this recipe is on my website, CompleteHealthWithKassy.com. So I'm going to get Terry started with the topping, which is a sugar crumble, and then we'll get back to the filling, which is the oatmeal. So what we're doing here is we're going to incorporate all of these ingredients to make a candied, almost a candied type topping for the top of the oatmeal. And we're using some grass-fed butter. And for a sweetener, I like to use natural sweeteners. So today we're using monk fruit, which is a natural zero glycemic sweetener. It's a great sweetener for everyone because it acts just like sugar when you're baking with it, but it has none of the inflammation effects that sugar has. We use other natural sugars such as dates and honey and maple syrup, but this, since we're making something that needs to be almost candy-like, we're gonna use this and it's gonna be great. We're adding pecans, which are raw and they're organic. Again, we want to use as minimally processed foods as possible. That's why we're using raw nuts.
And this would be good for someone with like diabetes, for example, right? Because it's got such low glycemic additives in it.
Exactly. This meal that we're making is practically zero glycemic, but it doesn't taste that way. It actually tastes like it's very sweet and almost like candy. So we're going to add some spices. We've got cinnamon, which is highly anti-inflammatory, and nutmeg, and some sea salt. So we're just going to...
And what kind of cinnamon are you using? I know you like that special cinnamon, but I don't remember what it was called.
So, like salt, most of the cinnamon that you can buy in the grocery store that says cinnamon actually contains very little cinnamon. So I like to use a cinnamon called Ceylon cinnamon. It's spelled C-E-Y-L-O-N, and it is the purest form of cinnamon, which is very anti-inflammatory, like I mentioned. So it's great to cook with.
And it smells great too.
Yeah, it's very wonderful to cook with.
So I noticed you had goji berries in your base there. What's special about goji berries?
So goji berries are very high antioxidant berries. They're very low glycemic. Again, you're not going to get the sugars that a lot of other fruits, such as raisins, would have in them. So they're great, again, for people with chronic illness, such as diabetes. They're packed with antioxidants, they're packed with vitamins and nutrients, and they actually reverse the aging process. They come from the Ningxia province of China, which is the highest region on the face of the earth for longevity. So people live longer there than they live anywhere else in the world. So we always want to throw those in when we can. And they're really great for trail mixes and things like that. They actually have a very nice flavor. So we've put those in, and I put them in last night when I started the soaking process. And I also added some chia seeds, which are very high in protein, and they are considered a superfood. They have lots of vitamins and nutrients that
They have a lot of calcium too, chia seeds?
Yes,
I think they do.
They are full of trace minerals and vitamins. So it's another great way to get to throw some extra nutrients in. I try to do that with everything that I cook. So we've got all these ingredients, and they've been soaking overnight, and pretty much all your water will be gone by the next day, and it's okay to add a little bit more water to it. We are going to add some almond milk. You can use any kind of milk. I prefer nut milk to regular cow's milk, but really you can use anything. It'll make it really creamy and yummy.
Is that a kind that's not been processed and cooked?
Yes. So there are, almond milk is one of those really trendy things that you can get these days. And many of them are full of sugar. So you really do need to look at your ingredients, look at the back of the cartons. If I don't make nut milk, which is actually really easy to make, and that's on my website as well, if I'm not making it, I would buy it, and you want to look for organic, and you want to look for the fewest ingredients possible. This nut milk actually only has water and vanilla in it.
Oh, wow.
Another great way to spice up your nut milk is to use a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of like a date or two, a medjool date.
Just add some sweetness to it.
Yeah, it adds the sweetness, but it also adds more nutrients. Dates are actually very nutrient dense and really good for us. So we're going to also add an egg. We have one egg, and that's just to bind it. It's going to come out almost like looking like a cake. So we're going to mix those around, and I'm also going to add some collagen powder.
Okay.
Collagen has many health benefits, and basically what it is it's unflavored dried bone broth. So it's going to help your skin to look better. It's going to help your hair and your nails and your joints feel better. It's just an all-around anti-inflammatory, and it's also great for adding into things, especially when you're baking or
It's like you can add it to a lot of stuff. Cook smoothies.
You can. You can add it to smoothies because really there's no flavor. You can buy it flavored, but again, I like to buy things in there, you know, make things in as minimally processed as possible. And it's a great protein source. It's actually got 22 grams of protein in it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then what's this here?
That is grade B maple syrup.
Okay.
There's different grades of maple syrup, and again, you really want to read what you're buying in the store, because even if it says 100% natural or pure, a lot of those words are buzzwords, and you really almost have to be extra careful when you're buying ingredients that have great marketing words on them like that. So
will it say grade B? If it is grade B, will it say that, or do you have to read fine print?
It should say that. Okay. And if it doesn't say that, then you might be a little suspicious as to what is in it. A lot of times there will be something in the store that says like maple syrup, but it will actually contain high fructose corn syrup, which is a very inexpensive sweetener that causes a lot of problems. It's actually neurotoxic. There's metal in it, and it causes a lot of health problems and inflammation. So we want to stay away from anything like that. Grade B is the minimally processed maple syrup, and that's why we like to use it. Grade A is more easily found in the grocery store, and that's okay as long as you get the dark amber color. You want to stick with that dark amber. It's going to have more nutrients, and it's going to taste better too. Okay, we're going to put that in our dish.
Did you want to add the blueberries and the spices? Do those go in there?
That's a wonderful idea. So we've got cinnamon, nutmeg, some dried vanilla powder. I like to use vanilla powder.
Okay.
And basically what it is it's ground up vanilla bean.
Wow,
So you're
okay.
not adding all the water and the alcohol, which is oftentimes in vanilla extract. And a little bit of Himalayan sea salt, nutmeg, and cinnamon. Yeah, you can go ahead and pour those,
Okay. So you
toss
just
those
kind of
blueberries
want
in, and
to.
we're just gonna fold them in.
That smells
And again,
awesome.
you can use any kind of berry, but if you don't have berries in the refrigerator, don't worry about it. It's still gonna taste wonderful.
Blueberries, I know, are very low in sugar. So that's
Yes, they
probably
are.
really good, again, for someone who has diabetes or
Exactly. That's why we want to
everybody,
stick
really.
to those low glycemic foods.
And then I did the crumble for the top.
Great. I also have another variation on my website, what I do is I put shredded apples and carrots in, and I don't use the blueberries, but it's really tasty as well.
Now, is this something you can also make up, bake it on Monday and have it last
Exactly.
for a few days?
Yes, it is.
Awesome.
And it's great for kids who don't like healthy breakfasts. It's a great alternative to processed donuts or cold cereal, which really doesn't offer your body many nutrients.
What if someone wanted to use instant oatmeal and whip it up just in the morning?
So I really don't advise that. One of the reasons why we use the old-fashioned oats is because they are gluten-free, and gluten is really difficult on our systems.
Okay.
So you definitely want to use as minimally processed, and those instant oats are typically highly processed, and they have, a lot of times they contain a lot of sugar in those little packages. So we want to stick to good old-fashioned oats, and
That looks amazing.
thank you. We're going to stick it in the oven and take out the ones that are already finished.
And the oatmeal is done.
Our oatmeal is done, Terry.
awesome.
A quick 30 minutes and it's beautiful. So Terry, we're just going to dish up our frittata
Okay.
and add a few little goodies for garnish.
Now, what are these little, lots of greens?
So these are all baby greens. They're called microgreens. And again, we're getting more bang for our buck.
Okay.
Microgreens actually are 20 times more potent than their mature counterparts,
Wow.
such as broccoli or cilantro or other
Radish, different sprouts.
radishes.
Okay.
So we're just going to add some of these, mainly for color, but again, to add nutrients to our dish. But it does look pretty too. We're going to add some avocado to it. Avocado, we're getting more good fats in. And you can add salsa, you can add different sauces if you prefer, or you can just make it simple and keep it simple like this.
If you wanted something creamy on top, like a sour cream, but didn't want to use sour cream because you don't want dairy, what could you use?
I would recommend using like a cashew cheese
Oh,
because
okay.
they're really soft. You could do that because it almost has a sour cream-like flavor as
Okay.
well.
That looks awesome.
Enjoy. So now we're going to dish up our blueberry oatmeal bake. And we have a little bit of almond milk to put on top. Another fun way to do it is to put a scoop of vanilla ice cream on for the kids. That's actually a good way to get kids to eat this, even though it's not difficult because it tastes so good. So we're just going to
You're
pour
putting
some
almond milk on top?
on top. You can
That's
use
good.
any kind of nut milk or any kind of milk, really. Let me know what you think.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing. I mean, the oatmeal is creamy, and the crunchy topping, and I just got a blueberry in there. It was awesome. I definitely recommend putting fruit in it. I have another bite.
So that wraps up today's show. We've made our frittata and we've made our baked oatmeal. And next time, I hope you come back and help me when we make a couple of salads. And these salads are going to be great because since springtime's coming, we are going to be using some seasonal local ingredients from our local farmers market. And they're basically going to be meals in a bowl.
Awesome. That sounds awesome. Thank you, Kassy.
Can't wait. Bye.